Welcome to Texan Overtime. I'm Evan Vieth.
I'm Nick Hargroue.
We are both soccer reporters here at the Daily Texan, and we're going to talk a little bit about the women's soccer team's last game against UCF. That was a 2-2 tie, their first tie in about 3 games, and they're now 6-1-2 on the year, I believe now. And we're going to talk a bit about the game. I want to start out first, Nick, talking a bit about the goalkeeping from both sides of the ball.
Oh, the goalkeeping was crazy this game. It started off like really defensively focused. There wasn't a whole lot of scoring going on, and both teams were extremely tired. It was like 95, 96 degrees outside. Probably felt like about 120. Those players were sweating their off. Like, they were sweating quite a lot. You could see the exhaustion both on the broadcast and just on the field. Like, players were kind of lagging around.
I mean, yeah, it was, when I checked when I was reporting the game, it was about 105 humidity, how it felt like on the field. And even like after the interviews, they did not want to be out in the sun. You could tell that was affecting the game. It made for a little bit of sloppy play, and it also meant that there was just a lot of shots on goal because they did not want to complete their runs. So both goalies had to work quite a bit. Savannah Madden, obviously, fifth-year senior for Texas, really well known on the team and one of the leaders and veterans. She's always out there putting her best out, and she's one of the best goalies in the Big 12, probably top 2 behind TCU's goalie. And then Caroline Delisle, who is UCF's goalie, is probably the best non-Power 5 goalie out there. She was all AAC last year. She was preseason all AAC this year. You can see why. She was putting out save after save. She looked amazing out there. UCF's defense did have some problems. There was a few players that specifically stood out, but Delisle really just showed out for them. Madden as well. What would you like to say about that?
Yeah, UCF's defense as a whole was really impressed me. They were far and away more physical than our team. That's the one problem that I think Texas has this season is the lack of physicality on touch. A lot of times UCF would get the ball and they would just like toss it back and forth from goalkeeper to defense to goalkeeper and play keep away, and Texas refused to press the ball. And then when they did, Texas got manhandled. They got stiff-armed into the ground. It was not a fun time for our midfielders this game, but I think that's something that our coach Kelly can work on a little bit in practice.
Yeah, this was a problem with the tie at Oregon, specifically a problem against UNC back when they were number 1 and they played UT in that 0-2 loss. They're playing TCU this next game, and Texas's physicality has kind of been a problem for the team. We've talked to Coach Kelly about it, and it's something they've always just been trying to improve on, but they get beaten a lot on ball, just getting shoulder pressed. They also don't press the ball a lot in defense. They were quite, I don't want to say lucky, but by the end of the game, UCF was playing it around the back, and Texas could not gain possession. This is one of the few games this year that they haven't been ahead in possession, actually only the second. And they've not won a game where they're behind in possession, and it's a problem when they can't win the ball back in the back because they're not pressuring, and also they're losing possession. So possession I talked to Coach Kelly about, that's a big thing for her. Also shots on goal, which was really just a thing that they did today. Lexi Mismo had 6 shots, 3 on goal. Trinity Byers also had 4 shots, 3 on goal. Talk a little bit about what you see from them taking shots outside the box a lot.
Yeah, this is another problem I have with the team. I know it sounds like I have a lot of problems. Our team's great. But one thing that they do is they like to take pot shots at the goal, particularly like Emma Regan. Anytime she gets the ball right outside the box, she is letting that thing fly. Like, it doesn't matter where it is, how many people are in front of her. If she touches the ball, she is shot chucking. I think we need to be a little bit more selective sometimes with the goals, especially getting the ball into the box with Trinity Byers, Lexi Misimo. They're our 2 most talented goal scorers by far on the team, maybe outside of like Liz Warden, the freshman forward. So I think really putting an emphasis on good quality shots on goal versus just getting shots in the vicinity of the goal is going to be a focus, especially going against a TCU team that won the Big 12 regular season title last year, won the Big 12 tournament last year, beating Texas in both. So I think in order for us to have a really successful season, we need to step up the physicality and step up the shot selection going into Big 12 play.
Yeah, when I talked to Trinity after the last game, Trinity Byers, she said that Coach Kelly has been emphasizing about 20 shots a game, which I think that can work in this non-conference play, especially when the goalies are a little bit lower quality. You're playing teams like UTRGV, but Byers is probably the best finisher in college soccer, at least for someone in an underclassman, and it's odd that they're not giving her the opportunity more to just put it on her feet back to the goal and take a shot at the goalie from inside the box. Like you said, Emma Regan has a really strong foot, but sometimes she'll just sky it over the net, and you're kind of left wondering. Jilly Shimkin had a great goal 2 games ago, but she also has a tendency to kind of just throw the ball towards the net, and I think what their game plan is to get corner kicks because they're such a good set-piece team. but it really feels like one of the priorities going into Big 12 play needs to be getting Misimo and Byers with chances to shoot the ball from inside the goal. And I mean, the corner kicks are obviously something they're strong at. MJ Cox is really good at the headers, and just crossing in, it's a little bit harder with Byers being your number 9. But I like what they do at set pieces. It was a really big strength early in the season, but right now that might be their win condition against teams like TCU and West Virginia in the future.
Yeah, I think set pieces is one thing we can reliably prepare for when it comes to like the game flow and actually getting into scraps in the middle of the field, changes of possession. That's something that Texas might struggle with a little bit. When it comes to set pieces, if they can just keep the ball in the attacking third and constantly pepper the goal with good quality corner kicks, Lexi Misimo puts a beautiful ball in the box just about every time she kicks it. So it's never going to be a fault of the cross for the most part. When it comes to the finishing, it's always going to be the people on the set pieces trying to actually put the ball in goal. But I think set pieces are going to be really important going into conference play because I think we're probably one of the best, if not the best team when it comes to set pieces in the Big 12.
And I'm going back to the UCF game as well. I think we need to shout out some of their players because they had a lot of great contributions from their team. Anna Henderson was really fast out there making plays. I think it's Diana Martin is how you pronounce her name. She had one incredible run that led to a goal. Their defense was much more solid than I think UT's was with Estupinan. Olivia Lewis, she was really good out there. And you talked about the physicality. Was that the main thing for you that you thought UCF had better than Texas? Was the defense? What was your thoughts on that?
If I'm being quite honest, I think UCF played better that game, and I think UCF deserved to win. I think Texas got pretty lucky to come out of that game with a draw. They were up 2-1 with just about 5 minutes left to play, and Texas got a really lucky toss-up in the air. Trinity came down, dunked on her defender, and decided that she was going to go tie the game. Yeah. That's just what she does. She is one of the most individually talented soccer players at the women's soccer level in almost any level, whether it's professional, international, college. She is that talented. So she went out and just said, I'm not losing this game. I'm going to at least come out here with some points. But I think overall, they passed better. They were more physical. I think their game plan coming in was a little bit better. So I think, obviously, Coach Kelly, great game planner. But I think coming from the opposing head coach, she also played with Kelly coming at UNC. So I think she really knew what to expect coming from Texas in this game plan, knew how she was going to try to attack her defense. So I think them using their speed on the outside, their physicality, really put Texas in a bind.
Yeah, and Texas is a team that's known for having kind of that natural raw talent. I mean, it's a team that has a lot of great recruits. I mean, Byers and Misimo is your first case in that. Liz Warden is one of the fastest players on the team, probably the strongest player on the team as well. And it's just odd that you're seeing a team like this that's very gifted at, they should be a team that you'd expect to be able to out-pressure, be able to outpace, be able to be more physical in some of these teams, and it's just not really showing, especially in the defense. I mean, the defense is pretty solid. I mean, I like Lapamorta and Brooks on the wings, but it seems like they just weren't as tenacious out there as they've been in the past. That was a big problem for me in the UCF game, is that they just took the wing and used it for all their attacks that ended up in goals.
Yeah, I think overall I'm happy with the way Texas played. Obviously, they could have played a lot better, but overall, I think sometimes you got to work on his physicality, making more runs on it, and just getting quality shots. But as a whole, I'm sure the team is thrilled to come out of there with a win, seeing as UCF looked to be the better team just about all day.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a bad showing right before conference play. You're fine with taking a draw against UCF, who's a pretty good unranked team. You're fine with coming into conference play with 6 wins, and I think overall, the team should be happy with where they're at. This game was a little shakier than their past ones, but that's because their past ones have been pretty clean as a team as well. So they're coming to TCU on Thursday. Should be a tough matchup, but Texas has everything to be confident about, and hopefully we see them put out a great competition against the best team in the Big 12.